Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I'm here with my lovely wife, Dr. Alicia. How you doing today, babe?
I'm pretty good. How are you feeling?
Feeling well, hungry.
No, you're not hungry.
I'm
Don't
not.
tell yourself that.
Well, I ain't starving, but Alicia, this week, Alicia got me on a fast. We're
Yeah.
getting we're getting ready. We have just 11 days for the All Black National Convention,
Hmm.
and I'm gonna try to get rid of my little extra belly fat so I can look better in my suit. So she got me overheating this prison cat food.
Well, okay, you call it a fast, but it's kind of a detox, and I think it's important to detox your body and your mind so that you can have a clear mind, so that you
Mm,
can come in as your best. And so that's the goal.
that's
It's
true.
not just weight
Detox.
loss is.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we just want to detox
All
and
right.
try to get off social media as much as possible.
So it's not a fast. So I'm not, but I'm gonna lose weight though, right?
Um,
I mean, I
maybe.
lost
I
weight
mean,
last time we did it.
that would be very helpful, but the goal is to be healthy.
Well, don't have me in here all hungry if I'm not gonna lose no weight. I gotta get something out of it.
You gotta meditate, boys.
Okay, all right. Anyway,
Yeah.
what's going on, everybody? How you doing? What's up, Kevin Ross and Jonathan Roberts, Max Jerome, Free My Grandma, and Cuthbert? Yeah. So today, on our Pillow Talk, in case you don't know, a Pillow Talk with Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia is where my wife and I get together. We have nerdy professor conversations against our pillows. Literally, we are. This is literally pillow talk, and we like to have intelligent discussions because we believe that Black people are intelligent inherently, and we should try to be intelligent. So, anyway, how many of you? Give me a yes or no. How many of you are aware of the protests of the students at Howard University? Apparently, right now Howard University's got a little bit of turmoil going on with some students that are just livid. Did you see this stuff with the student protest, babe?
Yeah, you showed it to me earlier. I mean, okay, so my brother went to Howard back when I was in the 8th grade. That's when he
Oh
was there.
wow, that's
So that's
crazy.
how much older he is than I am. And he graduated, I think, in 1990. I think that's when he graduated. But he
Okay,
had terrible experience with the dorms. I think that it was almost like a crisis situation.
are you serious?
Yeah, I think they promised students that they would have dorms, and then when they got to campus, no one had dorms, and people were just sitting out on the yard waiting to find living. It was just a big
What?
yes. It was
Ooh,
because of his experience. I don't think it was encouraged for me to go to a HBCU.
really?
Yeah, because I mean, he's a man, at that point, but they weren't going to send, like, I don't think my parents were going to send me, to, as sheltered as I was, they weren't going to send me out to it. HBCU and have things like that happen to me.
Have you just running the streets,
It would have been a huge
making your
disaster.
making your money the hard way?
Yeah, they weren't doing that. I wish. Well, I kind of. I don't know. I'm back and forth. I kind of think it's valuable to go to HBCU,
Oh yeah, of course
but
it
these
is.
sort of things, it just makes, are you going to send your daughters to this, to live
No,
in this
no.
sort of
Oh hell no.
situation? No,
Well,
of
I
course
have
not.
a lot of friends that went to Howard, and they seem to really enjoy the experience. But at the same time, I'd like to get your. What do you think, Doctor Conrad, Doctor R. Conrad Bingham? What kind of doctor are you, brother? He says he's a Howard grad, and like your brother, and
Well,
it's kind of a mixed thing, right? Like we want
mhm.
to love Howard, because Howard's Howard, right? But then it's kind of like Monique Perry. Monique Perry has a. She says, let's see. Did you say your daughter's at Howard?
Oh,
Monique,
okay,
yeah, her daughter's at
interesting.
Howard. The dental department's lacking in basic needs for students. She said the freshman dorm had roaches and rats.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, what the hell, man?
Yeah. I think he had to live off campus
Wow. And
as an
okay,
eight, as a
now
young.
Doctor
Hmm.
Conrad's also in the dentistry school. Well, he's a dentist too. I just
Hmm.
want to
At
mention that.
Howard.
Go ahead, Ben.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is pretty sad. Poor Howard. What's going on?
I don't know. I think people have been asking that for like 40 years.
A lot of people have been asking. I
Yeah,
mean, it has a great reputation. I have a long legacy at Howard. I mean, I've had a lot of my great grandfather graduated from Howard, and my brother graduated from there.
yeah.
So I
He
have,
he was one of the original Q dogs.
yeah, well, yeah, yeah, he was.
Yeah,
But yeah,
he was a mega man. He wasn't a Q dog.
I don't think they were calling them back then in the early
Mm,
1900s. I don't think so.
that's so crazy.
It's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway,
do me a favor. Hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. I'm
You
gonna
okay?
yeah, I'm just
Okay.
coughing.
Bless you.
I'm gonna read some of this article to you guys. Protesting right now, like they're I don't know what the hell's going on at Howard, but I saw a bunch of students like sleeping like in the administration building, and just really like taking a stand, just saying, look, we have certain demands, and I don't know how the administration is responding, but it looks kind of serious.
Yeah,
What do you
that's a
think?
crisis situation. I mean, there's a lot of protests going on around the world, so why not Howard get on board? You okay? You need some water?
I don't know, I'm
You
coughing.
okay?
I'm
You feel
coughing.
okay? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like we need to have like a building fund for Howard.
You know
Almost
what?
like churches, you give money to a building fund. We all need to like.
But let's keep it real though. Those, I mean, people, HBCUs that got a lot of money. They got a lot of that Black Lives Matter guilt money last year. What is going on with that money?
Where's it
And
going?
does
Yeah.
anybody know what the tuition? I want y'all to guess.
Oh my goodness.
What is the tuition of a student per year at Howard University? Somebody guess. How much do Howard University students pay to go to that school? That, according to some of the students, they got rats and roaches in the dorms and mold and all sorts of stuff. What is the tuition level? Somebody tell me. Somebody guess.
Hmm.
What do you think the tuition is?
I think. Oh gosh, a year probably. You think it's like 50 grand? You think it's that big?
Yeah, yeah. Let me see. I'm gonna Google search it.
Okay.
Let me know if you can still hear me. I'm searching on my phone. Let me see. Howard University tuition.
Tuition is right there.
Okay, tuition. Howard University tuition.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. So the tuition is 27,000, but all inclusive, it's a lot more than that, right? So I think that it's like, so let's see. If I click on cost of attendance at Howard, let me see. Let me scroll down. Okay, there's so much crap here. Okay. Tuition and fees, housing and meals, indirect costs, books and supplies, transportation. Okay, give me a number. They're not giving me a number on the site. Okay, so basic cost of attendance for Howard. Undergraduate, subtotal
$42.
$42,920, but the indirect costs. So tuition plus fees and housing is 42,920. Books, supplies, transportation, personal expenses totals $47,980. So you paid almost 50 grand.
Mm-mm-mm.
I mean, it seemed like you can like afford to have a place without rats and roaches for 50 grand a year. That's a lot of money.
Now, it's in Washington D.C. and I know that my brother. I'm just speaking on his experience. I know when he was there, he rented apartments when he was there, and he
Hmm.
said it was like rats and roaches in some of the apartments. So I think like some of the living conditions just in that city is pretty terrible
Mm.
back then. This was the early '90s.
Well, it looks like Miss.
But
Oh, oh,
I
go
don't
ahead,
know.
babe.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, Monique Perry's pissed.
Yeah.
I see you, Monique. I see you, girl.
What's she saying?
Monique's daughter went to Howard. Monique is like, my daughter pays 60,000 a year for dental school. I think her daughter's still there,
Mm-hmm.
and she says it's not worth it. It's trash.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah. Where's that money going to?
I don't know. The Orthodox Moor says 50K for a roach motel. That's actually pretty funny. Um, yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like you just wonder what's going on with the money
Mm-hmm.
and why $50,000 isn't enough for my child to get an education and a decent place to live.
Well, not only that, but they're sitting in mold infested dorms that's potentially
Oh,
damaging to their health.
some of those pictures of the mold were disgusting. Like
Mhm.
the one embarrassing thing about that news story was there were some really nasty pictures of the mold. I'm actually finding an even better picture. But the thing about mold is not a game. Like you can't just like act like it's not a big deal. And this poor girl,
You could die from that
Well, mold.
if it gets into your lungs.
Mold.
hmm
Mold.
It could be potentially lethal. So they gotta have a heck of a
They might.
lawsuit on their hand.
They might have some legal liability. I
hmm
don't know. I'd be curious. But look at that picture, y'all. Look at that picture of the mold that the girl took in her dorm. What is that? Like, what the hell is that?
Oh my goodness.
That's like a whole gang of bacteria up in there. That's like
I
a
mean, just think
whole
about it.
that's like a whole metaverse of bacteria. Like those bacteria down there living their best life. They have a whole community. They
How
got a whole black
awful.
community right there in that mold.
How awful is this? I'm thinking about, you're going to college, you're all excited about college, you can't wait. You're at Howard University. Howard University is like one of the top HBCUs, top universities, out there. You're so excited and you're there and you're trying to study and you're trying to do your best academically. And it's almost impossible when your living conditions is so stressful.
Well,
You know, mhm.
Monique Perry. See, they need to get on the phone with Monique and talk
Yeah.
to her about because Monique's mad. Monique said that she claims that the dental lab roof caved in a few months back and still not fixed. Does anybody have anything good to say? I want to be fair to Howard. Now, let me tell you, because my experience with Howard, I had two
You did
major
not have a good
I had two
experience.
major experiences with Howard, and they were not good. Now, this is just my experience. So,
hmm
but the thing is, I want to be respectful because I know that there are some good experiences that people have there. My two experiences at Howard. One, I wanted to go teach there actually when I was back on the faculty at Syracuse. When I interviewed for the finance department, I got interviewed by a Chinese man, and I did not understand why this Chinese man was deciding if I was qualified to teach African American students. Because I cannot name a single place in China where an African American gets to decide if a Chinese man is qualified to teach Chinese children. Right. So
hmm
that pissed me off. And not I wasn't even mad about the pay cut or nothing. I was willing to take all of that. Second time with Howard, 2015. The year's 2015.
hmm
It's the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. I went to DC because I wanted to join Minister Farrakhan and his people there to do an event. And I said, let me do an event at Howard at the same time. The minister and everyone's there for the 20th anniversary. So the day before the minister was going to speak, I had my event scheduled at Howard because one of the students had arranged a space for us to go there and speak. Well, they thought apparently the administrator, whoever, didn't really do their due diligence. So they went ahead and approved the space. They didn't know that I was going to draw the crowd that I drew because a lot of black people had already descended on DC,
hmm
right? So hundreds of people were at Howard waiting for me to come there and speak. So the administration was like, why are all these people here? And somebody said, oh, there's this guy named Dr. Boyce Watkins coming. And I guess somebody Googled me and they just got spooked. And do you know what they did? Do you know what these Negroes did?
What they did, boys.
They put a sign on the goddamn door that
uh-huh.
said the event is canceled. Like right when we were about to have the event, I was
hmm
so livid. I had to email thousands of people and say, do not come to the venue. Howard just canceled it and there's nothing we can do.
That's cold blooded.
Oh, that
It
made me
really
so.
is cold
I've been
blooded.
mad about that for 6 years.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. There's something I've had some interactions with some faculty there, and I've had
Oh,
interactions with some because I'm a faculty member too, so we're on the same level.
right, of course.
And I've had some interactions with some of their graduates in their PhD program where
Mm,
I've worked with them, black people. I'm like, oh, fellow black people, and I'm gonna tell you, it was really disappointing.
really?
Yes, it was extremely disappointing. I felt like some of the faculty there, and I can't say all, of course, we can't make blanket statements, but yeah, I felt like they kind of looked down on me for some reason. I have
Look at
no
why would they
idea.
look that?
There was this sort of
But they
like
got
contempt.
rats and roaches in the dorm.
I don't know what
How
it
you looking down on
was.
people when your ceilings are caving in and you got mold?
There,
Your students are gonna
I
have moldy lungs when they graduate.
I can't
Like they're gonna
tell
be
you.
they got the lungs of Snoop Dogg
There
by the
was
time they leave up out of there.
it was bizarre. There was this elitist sort of thing where they just felt they were better than me for some reason.
Well, we could call it
I have to
maybe
tell
it's
you about it.
moldy lung syndrome.
It's just something moldy there. And I just chalked it up with those individuals. But I've talked to other people who've had similar experiences on a personal level where, I mean, I've never been treated badly by anybody other than people that come from Howard University. And it's terrible because I want to love the university because I have connections there. But and I still love the university. I'm not going to let that sour me. But I have it was really devastating to experience that from people. I was really disappointed and really sad by it. Because I was
Interesting.
excited. So I
Well,
thought they were a little elitist.
let's see here.
Hmm.
Okay, so Jenny Cook Muhammad, she claims they have no Wi-Fi. Now, is that true? I don't know. That's what she says. Dr. R. Conrad Bingham. I'm listening to the doctor because he actually went to Howard and
Uh-huh.
he's a distinguished dentist, and it's very hard to become a dentist.
He said whites and Asians get scholarships.
Yeah, they. I
Huh.
guess I don't know what that. I don't know how that works, but it is what it is. Let me see here. Let's see. Ronnie says, "Could you address this agenda of the media with making anything masculine toxic or inappropriate?" Yes, I will. I will. Monique Perry says this needs to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
Janie says she goes there every day to bring food to the kids. Man, she's got to
Oh,
go
so it's
and
just
feed.
like the babies are there and they hungry. So they don't have dorms. They don't have cafeterias in their dorms.
I don't
What
know.
is going on?
I
It's
don't
like
know.
show some respect and dignity for young people who are there. 18. You're the first time. It's the first time you're away from home, and you're making this experience really awful.
It sounds traumatic.
I think it would be. Can you imagine? I would be sitting in my room as an 18-year-old in tears.
Yeah.
Especially a lot of wealthy middle class, upper middle class black people, they send their kids to Howard, and just because they have that need to want to have their children have that black experience. And children sometimes aren't used to seeing that sort of thing. They're not accustomed to rats and roaches and things like that.
Well, check this out.
Hmm.
Okay, this is interesting. I'm really gaining information here. So Erica says there's only two cafeterias. Janie
Mm.
says they closed the cafeteria, and Tawana says, now this is an interesting comment. She says my daughter is a freshman at Howard University, and we are so disappointed with the housing
Hmm.
situation, campus situation, and tuition fees. I'm a Virginia State University graduate, or I'm a graduate. Okay, HBCU graduate, and encourage her to do the same. She will complete the spring semester, and we will decide if she will return.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
that's pretty sad.
So this sister says this happened to me years ago. Um, let's see here. All the HBCUs have this issue though. And I'm trying to understand, because there was this burst of money that was going to the HBCUs. Remember when Mackenzie Bezos was giving all that money to all the
Hats off
HBCUs?
to her. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. And then then you got the corporate donors, like
Hmm.
thank you for sending all your Negroes to come work for us. They
Hmm.
they they write checks. I kind of think, Dr. Claude Anderson does not speak highly of HBCUs, particularly Howard,
See,
because
Howard has a reputation problem. Yeah. So when I start talking to other people who've had like experiences with individuals from Howard, we share some of
hmm,
the same experiences.
interesting,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you think it's just you, and I don't want to badmouth anybody or talk bad about an institution like that. You need some water.
I
I
know, I
don't want to
know.
speak bad about institutions like that because you want to uplift HBCU as much as possible, but no.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, can't we like critique HBCUs though out of love?
Mm-hmm.
Basically by saying we expect more, and we need to know why there isn't more. Like, what is it about that 50,000 that the students are paying per year to go to school that doesn't allow for adequate resources? And is there a more efficient model for educating Black youth? You know,
Well,
because
shame on them for subjecting students to this. No human being should live like this in an institution of learning. How
mhm.
can you learn? How can you have an environment that's conducive to learning when conditions are so poor?
Mm,
Faculty should be it up. Like if I was a faculty member at that university and I knew the students were living like this, I would be protesting with them. Where are the
interesting.
faculty? Where are the people who are filling their pockets with all this money? Where are they? How come they're not down there advocating for students?
Wow, the comments that are coming in are really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should just play show as much of this as possible because this is really interesting information that you all are providing. And
Mm-hmm.
by the way, before I move on, do us a favor, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe. It's telling stories like this that don't hit mainstream media. This is why we're here. Dr. Alicia, she is a full professor of social work. My PhD is in finance. So we are definitely concerned parents because we have a daughter that wants to go to an HBCU.
Mm-hmm. She wants to
And
go to Howard.
if
Mm-hmm.
half of this shit is true, I'm
No
not sending
way.
her. No, she ain't going. No, you ain't going. You ain't have my daughter living no rats and roaches and mold. I'm sorry. No. So anyway, so check this out. All right, so let's keep going. All right, so GNL says parents should get together and demand change. Z Live says Dr. R. Conrad Bingham. Do you know how long ago it was in the early '90s? Dee Dee says I went to Morgan State. I recall conditions were not always great in the dorms, but I do not recall it being like this. I really don't. Shout out to Morgan State. I know a few
Mm-hmm.
professors there, good people. Dr. Ma'at is down there, and just met her when I went to Baltimore. A wonderful lady. Those Jaleesa says those admins are mishandling the funds.
Mm-hmm.
I would
Mm-hmm. I
like
think
I
so.
would like to see some transparency. Like,
Well, is it a public institution or is it private? I can't remember.
I think Howard's
It's
public.
nonprofit. It's got to be a nonprofit
I think
institution
it's public, and I'd be curious to know how much transparency there is about where the money's going.
because all that money it should be publicly known if it's.
Yeah, well,
Mhm.
the I would tell you when I went to Howard, I remember I wasn't sure exactly what part of the city it was in, but I knew where it was because I saw a big, gigantic, like supersized mural of Abraham Lincoln, and on it,
Where
right on the side of one of the buildings, and I said that must be Howard, because it's like the
Abraham Lincoln of all people?
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, right? Like, I feel like
Oh my gosh.
honestly, I feel like, and maybe I sound a little biased when I say it, but like those Abraham Lincoln Negroes, they
They
can't. They're kind of like a slave to like whatever white people decide to give them. They can't. They don't know. So they're not. They're like do for self is like a negative phrase for them. Like the idea of black people doing for self is like scary and radical and crazy. That's why Howard has never invited Dr. Claude Anderson to speak. Right, Dr. Claude Anderson, the greatest economic mind of our generation, has lives right down the street from Howard. By the way, he's lived there for 50 years.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Dare I say sellouts?
Well, you know what?
Dare I say a
You know
bunch of
what?
sellouts?
I'm gonna tell you what. I would say that corporatized kind of plantation style, thinking in the sense that you're not exactly operating with the class and dignity that black people deserve. You got your kids running around here telling everybody that there's rats, roaches, and mold in the dorms. Now, how true that is, nobody knows. This is just what the students are saying, and to me, I really think maybe it's time to build a better HBCU, right? Like, for example, we're not the Black Business School, we're not in any way as well established as the HBCUs,
Mm-hmm.
but if you look at the roster of people that we have coming to the All Black National Convention, I will put them up against the Howard University faculty any day of the week.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about
Mm-hmm.
we got PhDs, we got medical doctors, we got millionaires. We had a billionaire at the last one, Mike Roberts. Mike Roberts, the hotel billionaire, came to our last convention. So to me, it's like if you're learning about business and black economics,
That wasn't the only billionaire.
what was
Wasn't
it?
it? Wasn't there another one?
That came to our thing. I don't think we have 2 billion. There was the one guy who created the I want to say let your soul glow, but
He
that
had the
wasn't
hair care
he was the hair
industry.
guy. Yeah, what was his name?
I do not
We
remember
knew
his
his name.
name. And it's
Bonner Brothers, the Bonner Brothers,
I
the hair guy.
I know his face though.
Yes, and
Mm-hmm.
we had lawyers, we
Yeah.
had scholars. So to me, here's my thing. Here's what I'm getting at, y'all. Here's what I believe. I believe black people should be in charge of educating black children, right? And I'm talking about from the rooter to the tutor, like not just black people, like not just having a school that's full of black students where you got some African faculty maybe sprinkled in with some Asian faculty and a couple of African Americans every now and then. But I remember at the time I interviewed at Howard, there was not one single, if I recall, It wasn't Howard. I'm sorry. I think it was another HBCU. They didn't have a single African American male in the entire black business. It was the entire business school.
Well, you know how hard it is to get through the PhD program
It's
and
hard,
how
but
tough it is to recruit. And they're not, the salaries can't be as competitive. It's really
mm,
difficult. I mean, it's so I don't want to blame them for things that they are trying to work on. And, it's a difficult situation. Somebody's got to teach those classes.
that's true.
Hmm.
But I can tell you, I know PhDs though who wanted to work there. Like I
Okay.
was one of them. I wanted to work there. I was like, I'll take a pay cut. But what it was that even at that time I was radical. I'm not. I'm very qualified. I was trained by the best in the world.
Hmm.
But the fact that I'm into this whole do for self blackness and I'm not scared of white people and I don't really and I kind of say what needs to be said in terms of advancing the black community, that leads you to be kind of pushed away by some of
Hmm.
the HBCUs because they tend to be conservative. For a long time, Cornell West, he told me that for a long time, a lot of HBCUs would not have him on campus until he became more mainstream. Then he formed a better relationship. But when he was young and so-called radical, they I
Hmm.
think it was Hampton that wouldn't even let him come speak there.
Very interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, let me see here. So so my thing is like, and I agree with you, Miss Scorpion. We need B1 schools. Like I really think we need to sort of really look at this and say, okay, what if we got together a panel of black educators who could lay their best ideas on the table,
Hmm.
who could get say, I bet if you gave them like just say 50 million in funding, they could build an institution that could educate all those kids at Howard.
Hmm.
We maybe it would involve a mix of of the use of digital technology mixed with a few buildings, of course, so they can have a college experience. But literally, I kid you not, if I got together with some of the smartest black people I know and you gave us like $50 million in a budget, we could create an institution, I believe, that does a better job of educating black people than a lot of the HBCUs, because a lot of these schools get bulky. They get all this administrative nonsense. Then the next thing you know, you're wondering like, why are we paying $46,000 a year and the dorms are like the worst housing projects I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it seems like just not even just the living conditions, but it also seems like some of the classrooms and some of the facilities are worn down based on what I'm reading in the comments. Hmm.
Yeah, well, let's look at some of the mold. Is interesting, right? I learned about mold. My accountant, who happens to live in DC, she
Oh,
she found mold in her house, and she called me screaming bloody murder. She said, "Boyce, I want to come on your podcast to warn black people about the dangers of mold."
really?
Yes,
Huh.
this week before the Howard story, before I even heard about this, she literally was like, "Boyce, I'm freaking out." She said, "I'm gonna sue these people that we've been breathing this stuff in. This is toxic." And I was like, "Mold is that bad?" She said,
Yeah.
"Yes." Like so, literally right
Hmm.
before the story happened, she called me freaking out about the mold thing. So here, I found some like descriptions of what mold can kind of do to you, and I think it's important to understand. So maybe you want to get tested for mold if you think it's in your house. Um, so there's level one exposure, which is pretty mild, where you can get some headaches, eye irritation, sneezing, itching, skin redness, or a skin rash. That's level one. That's before it gets too bad. Level two exposure can get worse. Level two includes things like, I can't read that top line, but it says nosebleeds, ear infections, chronic sinusitis, chronic bronchitis, pain in the muscles and joints, asthma, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, coughing up blood or black looking debris, neurological disorders, nervous disorders, heart palpitations, blurred vision, swollen glands, weight loss, chronic fatigue, loss of appetite, depression, open skin sores or lesions, fungal nails, hands or feet, sexual dysfunction, and thyroid conditions. Holy shit. Who knew
Oh
that mold
my.
was that bad?
And according to that picture, this has got to be a level two situation.
Did y'all know that mold was this bad?
Awful.
How many of y'all knew that mold was this terrible before? I
Hmm.
didn't. I'm being educated here. I didn't.
Well, remember when we went to Indiana and they had the big mold issue,
That's right. They had to
and
shut
they
down.
they
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 shut
took it
down the whole
seriously.
campus.
Yes, they did.
They put them students out of the dorm and shut the whole campus down because we went there and all the students. I said,
Hmm.
"Where are the students at?" They said, "Oh, they can't live here now."
Yeah, I mean, so I
Woo!
think it's just so sad that white students, a majority white institution, is taking the conditions of the students the student body population
Mm.
into consideration, and then black students are treated like they're worthless.
Well, Kamala Harris got elected because she went to Howard. I wonder if I bet Kamala's going to get on the job. Kamala's going to be like, Joe, we got to make sure that those students at Howard don't have moldy dorms. We got to fix that right away. They got us in the office, Joe. We got to take care of those people.
She's up all night. She's losing sleep over her
what
alma
y'all
mater.
what y'all think? Y'all think Kamala Harris is losing sleep over this? What y'all think? Oh, but I'm not done. There's level 3 exposure. So
Okay.
just to make sure we give a complete public service announcement here. Okay, level 3 exposure is I'm scared of because level 2 was scary.
Mhm.
Blindness, COPD. I don't know what COPD is.
That's a breathing issue.
Okay. Hypersensitivity pneumonitis. I have no idea what the hell that is. Histoplasmosis,
Mm.
memory loss, long term, bleeding lungs, kidney failure, liver disease, cancer, and death.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I think there are prisons that have more um respect
Damn,
for
that's
the
terrible.
conditions
That's so
than a
terrible that we have to say that.
HBCU.
And it's so sad that I cannot even debate your point.
Hmm.
I have no comeback for that. I would like to understand what the hell's going on. I would like, because you got the students out here protesting now against the university, basically saying like we demand that you do something about this. I support the students. I
Hmm.
love it. I think it's great. I mean, I'm gonna take some time and research this, and
Hmm.
if anybody watching knows a student who's protested and they want to come on my YouTube channel. We got about 1 million subscribers across different channels. I'd be more than happy to let them tell their story. I want to support them. Because I mean, I'm not so happy with everything I've seen out of Howard, but I do think that there are some incredibly um, productive and salvageable aspects of the school. I would just like to understand what the hell's going on, and I think that so many people are so deeply committed to HBCUs that it's kind of like we're willing to overlook a lot.
Yeah, but they need to be committed to us as well.
Yeah.
They need to be committed to us and our experience. They need to take it seriously. I mean, if somebody trusts you to educate their child, you have to take that seriously.
Hmm.
You're investing your time, your energy, your money, and efforts, and all in your youth. You're dedicating your youth to an experience, and you can't take that for granted.
Yeah. Didi
Uh,
thinks that alumni should protest
oh yeah.
in solidarity. I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah, because that's true. I mean, you've got far more alumni than you have current students, and it shouldn't be on the backs of just the current students to resolve this. You got the graduates from 2020,
Hmm.
2019,
Hmm.
2018, 2017. You can go
Yeah,
down, keep going down the list.
and that's terrible because you don't want like your bright-eyed, bushy-tailed freshmen get to where they're seniors at the institution and they're just ready to go. They're like, you know what? Do whatever I have to do to get my degree, and let me just get out of this hellhole. Basically, you don't want people to graduate disgruntled like that because alumni, like they rely for some extent on alumni to give back. That's the first thing
Yeah.
they do. As soon as you graduate from a university, they wait a couple of months and then they're just sending you those letters to ask for money. That's the first thing that they want to do.
Well, and that's one of the critiques that Dr. Claude Anderson
Hmm.
always had of HBCUs, why they stay broke and struggling, is because they spend all their time pretty much training black people to become employees for white people.
Okay.
And what
So
he
we got that
says
issue
is
too.
that, yeah, what he says is that you need to, instead of just teaching them how to go and manage somebody's business, you need to teach them how to create businesses because that's where you get your millionaires and your billionaires from. Remember when we went to Milwaukee School of Engineering
Hmm.
and they had this gigantic $60 million building that was donated to them by the guy who graduated and went off and helped found Intel or
Hmm.
something, right? And so if you don't have a lot of those entrepreneurial types in your donor base, then you don't have those billionaire, $500 million type people that can really write the big checks to help you get things done. You got a bunch of damn employees,
Hmm.
and I remember Sharif Abdul Malik, who created We Buy Black, just one of the most successful alums of Howard. He said that he studied social work And
Oh,
he went over
okay.
to he said, I went over to the business school thinking that they would be able to teach me more about how to run my business. He said they knew nothing about how to start businesses.
Hmm.
They just knew how to work for people's businesses. And he said I learned more from my father who was hustling on the corner, and taught me how to make $1 than I did from like the actual business school. Now that was his story, that was his
Mm-hmm.
specific
Mm-hmm.
experience, but there's a deficit there, and it's not meeting the needs of the Black community. We don't need more employees. We need more business owners. So, anyway, did you have more to say about this, babe?
This is just pretty sad. I think this is a crisis, and I don't think that it's just isolated to Howard. I think there's other
Mm-hmm.
HBCUs that they're probably having this sort of issue. I think.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think?
I agree. I agree. I don't think Howard has to be singled out on this, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think that, and again, I think that there's a lot of good things about Howard, but sometimes when you have a story like this, it kind of dwarfs all the good things that you've done. And I think people have a right to ask, like, what the heck is going on? Like, why is it that you still have these issues?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the gap? And I think some transparency is called for in situations like this. And this ain't the first time the students have protested. They had some crazy protests just a few years ago.
Well, Howard's had a lot of scandal, though. I remember, like years ago, there was some scandal with with their
Hmm.
funding.
Yeah.
Remember the?
Well,
Oh, I think they went to jail, right?
yeah, there was the administrator in the financial aid office who was taking student loan money or something. It was something like
What
that.
was it? I remember you doing
Do
a
y'all,
story
do
on
y'all
that.
remember that when Howard had the other little scandal about it was somebody but then
Misappropriating the funds is what they were doing. I do remember that being the theme there.
it was a Howard financial aid
Someone needs to
scandal
look into
where
this.
somebody was like doing something with the paper or something shady. Let me see. I'm gonna Google it right
Oh, it's
quick.
a. Hmm.
Tyrone. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Let's see. Howard University student accused of stealing $429,000 in financial aid. Oh Lord. Now he did speak out. His name was Tyrone. It says Howard student at the center of Howard University financial aid scandal speaks out. It's been very hurtful. 6 Howard University employees have been fired from the Washington D.C. school for allegedly misappropriating funds.
That's what I
This is
remember.
in 2018. A Howard University law student at the center of a social media storm is telling his side of the story amid headline-making claims that university officials misappropriated financial aid funds. Tyrone Hankerson Jr., 25, of Atlanta, drew the ire of social media users this week after someone alleged in a now deleted blog post that he received more than $400,000 of university provided awards from financial aid during his time as a student. Now the graduating law student says he's done nothing wrong. That's not true. I received over 200,000 for the 4 years. Well, I mean that's 50K a year.
Okay,
That's not
okay.
out of the question. I was an undergrad at Howard, but that wasn't just a traditional schedule. I also went to summer school. I also had opportunity to study abroad. I did not receive any award that was labeled. Okay, his attorney notes that Hankerson graduated summa cum laude with a 4.0.
Okay.
The comments came less than a day after University President Wayne Frederick revealed in a statement that 6 employees had been fired from the university for gross misconduct and neglect of duties. In the statement, Frederick acknowledged that in December 2016, he was alerted that there may have been some misappropriation of university provided financial aid funds. He said officials launched an investigation and found that from 2007 to 2016, some university employees received inappropriate refunds thanks to university grants that exceeded the total cost of attendance. Hankerson Jr. says he was not fired from his position but left the job after completing his degree in 2015. He tells people he has never been contacted by the university about any investigation or his student account. He's clearly innocent. He didn't do anything illegal. However, the law student has faced scrutiny from internet users. Well, you know how the internet gets in there,
Hmm.
people trying to be judge, jury, and executioner with no information, right? So the law student has faced scrutiny from internet users who quickly discovered his social media accounts, which feature Hankerson Jr. wearing lavish furs. Wow, we got
Oh my goodness.
designer handbags and even posing in front of a luxury Range Rover.
Well, okay, so some of the HBCU students, they do like to kind of show.
It ain't what ain't
They
HBCU students.
Some of the students,
it's that aspect of
it is an aspect.
part
You're
of our
right,
culture,
to just kind of show out.
right?
I don't have anything
Well, you know
against
what?
that.
I tell people all the time, like if you get some money, don't be out here shining, because then you make yourself a target. when you're out here shining and flossing, trying to show off with everything you got.
But
So
there were students at Howard, and even my cousin who went to Hampton, there were students there that wore mink coats and stuff.
yeah, okay.
That showed off, you
Well,
know.
you ain't gonna see me wearing no mink coat. He was wearing lavish furs. He had designer handbags and was posing in front of a luxury Range Rover.
Don't look at me
Me and
like
my
that.
mom believe in balling on a budget.
Hmm.
Why would you be balling on the budget? I don't even.
Maybe it was knockoffs or something.
Man, all this materialism.
Hmm.
Anything I received, I have not paid full price for. It was bought at a discounted cost. Noting that he worked over the summers during his law school career. I saved money so I could buy things I like because I'm into lifestyle and fashion. I had a
Yeah.
blog and a social media presence where I was pushing that individual brand. Well,
And then they have a picture of him.
wow. This is
You what? Mm-mm. You want some money for financial aid? You better
Well, I want everybody to see this picture of this brother in
stop.
this fur coat.
Do
I'm
not.
not making fun of him. I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Come on. I'm just gonna say that ain't my culture. That's not I can't relate to all that, but we ain't none of us perfect. God ain't through with us yet. I want y'all to just see the brother like with the fur. There's the picture. There he is. So I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think? But anyway, so apparently Howard did have a misappropriation of funds just a few years ago. And I guess it got cleared up. So people got fired, and I guess it's all behind them. But at the end of the day, it's um it's kind of unfortunate to see this, Like
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
So shout out to the students at Howard. I wish you the best. And by the way, Alicia's website is coaching with Dr. Alicia. The URL's on the screen, and also you can follow her on Instagram at coaching with Dr. Alicia. And don't forget that just in a few days, actually, we're doing the All Black National Convention. This is a great place to go if you want to learn from all the Black people in the community who are brilliant, who can solve problems, who are not afraid to be Black, who care about the community. We're meeting in Orlando. If you are a college student, you show up with your student ID, you can get in free. College students can come in for free with a valid student ID. We have a long list of medical doctors and lawyers and real estate experts and just so many great people. Attorney Nicole Compton, I heard from her today. She's an attorney and a business startup specialist. Mary Dean, the Wall Street lawyer, is going to be there. She's brilliant. King Randall, this brother built a whole school down in Georgia by himself, and he's only 21, 22 years old. Constance Carter, who owns the largest Black real estate firm in California, is going to be there. Jay Morrison, who raised by himself $13 million for the Tulsa Real Estate Fund, is coming. Riza Islam, who is a member of the Nation of Islam and an extraordinary leader, is coming. Dr. Claude Anderson will be part of the convention. Also, Nuri Muhammad, a great leader in the Nation of Islam, is one of our speakers. Queen Afua, who's a health expert, is going to be there. The rising superstar hip hop artist Akila Nihunda is going to be there. It's going to be October 29th through November 1st. So that's about 11 days. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. So take a look. This is the Black Brain Trust. This is what, in my view, we need. If you're talking about educating Black people are the best in the world at educating Black people. And one of the shortcomings of HBCUs, unfortunately, is that you have a lot of scenarios where our kids are going to HBCUs, but they're not even being educated by Black people. And I don't think that that's proper in terms of giving our kids what they need to build the community that we need to build. Do you follow what I'm saying? I'm not judging. I'm not saying HBCUs are worthless or garbage. I'm just saying, come on, man. You got so many great people in your community that they don't even let y'all pay attention to. Like brothers like these two. I talk about these guys a lot. Al Duncan and Freddie Taylor. These guys are millionaires. These guys built multi-million-dollar businesses that are healthy and Black and solid and strong. Wouldn't you want strong Black men like this mentoring your sons? Like seriously, why is it that masculine Black men have been rejected by society? Well, probably because they're a threat. Because the masculine men are the ones who are gonna get it done. They're not running into the shadows to because they're scared and hiding every time something goes wrong. Devon Truvell created the Black Wall Street game for children. He's teaching them about wealth at a very early age. Queen Afua who that's my Dr. Fauci. She's not going to talk to you just about a pill or a jab. She's going to talk to you about how to have a healthy immune system so you don't need the pills and don't need the jab and don't become a slave to big pharma. That's what black people need. That's how we can confront the fact that hundreds of thousands of our people are dying from heart disease, dying from cancers, dying from diabetes. Queen Afua, if she's in charge, that doesn't happen on her watch. So the list kind of goes on and on. Carla Ballard is an expert in cryptocurrency. We just have so many great people there. We have literally 60 speakers, and we did this. The community did this. We don't need, we're not like a lot of HBCUs. I know they need funding. They need people they need government money. They need corporate money. They need donors. We did this by ourselves. Like we got this done. This is not Black Liberation brought to you by McDonald's. This is black people, the smartest, your black think tank that came together and got it done. Now, Furious says I signed up for a 6 day challenge and it didn't start. If you have an issue like that or any questions, just email support at theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support at theblackbusinessschool.com. I know that challenge you're referring to, Furious. I know that it did start, so it might have gone to your spam, but it's okay. You can still go to allblacknationalconvention.com and take a look. I just really encourage you to just realize as black people, we need better solutions. I love the HBCUs. I love all the other things that we've been doing as a community. But my God, the reality is that what we've been doing is not working. What we've been doing has not been successful. When it comes to health, I'm not looking to Dr. Fauci. I'm looking to people like Nathaniel Jordan, the Minister of Wellness, who's a brilliant brother who knows all about health and cares about Black people. When I'm talking about healthy relationships, I'm looking at people like my wife, Dr. Alicia, or Dr. Adrian Carter, who are trained licensed therapists. They can teach us how to stay married, how to build strong families. When I'm looking at Black survivalism, I'm looking at people like Farmer Brown, the MC, or Maj Toure, who can teach you things like how to shoot a gun, how to grow your own food. The list kind of goes on and on. So I could keep talking all day about it. Just go take a look. I hope you'll consider, as Jonathan's saying, let's construct a new plan. Let's go to plan B, plan C, plan D. And we're also going to have fun. It's not going to be all serious. We're also going to do some like things like speed dating. You set that up.
Oh, I'm excited about it. Yes, please sign up. We'll do something later on about it.
Yeah, you like
Yeah.
see you love seeing the love connections. And
Oh, it's my favorite thing.
so we're having a lot of fun. We're gonna do speed dating,
Yes.
the backyard barbecue, the B1 ball, the awards ceremony, and the spades tournament, and Black movie night.
Ah, movie night. Okay.
Yes.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, so it's going to be in Orlando, October 29th through November 1st. You can go to allblacknationalconvention.com. The URL's on the screen. You can also attend virtually. Virtually, we can't show you everything virtually. We can try, but some things we just don't work in a digital translation. But we're hoping you'll come by in Orlando because I guarantee you it'll be worth it. So anyway, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good night. Thank you so much for your time. It was fun talking to you.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye bye.